So let's get through a good amount of this. It looks like there's a small amount of us, so maybe there's less opinions.
questions?
So let's see how much we can get through.
Motel's good. Multifamily dwelling, good. Municipal use, good. All right, we're cranking.
Yeah, we're going.
A dwelling with attached, semi-detached, or detached units, providing lodging for existing clientele.
We did that,
Didn't we talk about that when we did hotel?
yeah. I think we did it last meeting.
I think,
I have
no, it was a
restarted.
little while. It was hotel, motel, inn.
Did we talk?
Talked about inns and the difference between.
Oh, right. And the motel is that there's a separate entrance for each, like it goes out to the parking lot. There's a difference between a hotel and a motel, right? Like the motel has to have a door to the parking lot. Like each unit has a door. Out. Faces
Yeah,
the-
yeah, that's,
right?
yep. Mhm.
So if we define it as transient clientele, how do we end up with people living in them?
But that's illegal.
Huh?
Well, yeah, if it was the state, then they supersede our regulations.
Right.
But if it's not, and then it's illegal unless they are permitted for it.
Whatever, I'm okay. I mean, I
I'm fine
don't,
with it.
Alright, thanks.
nobody builds motels anymore anyways.
It's more of a building code thing
Right.
too, so.
All right,
Multifamily dwelling.
Didn't we
We went over this in.
dwellings, right?
so is that saying there's separate services?
There's not always separate
No,
services though,
that's
right?
Separate dwelling units.
Yeah, but you don't always have
With
to have separate.
services
For heat lighting.
for heat, lighting, and other utilities.
So we went over this, so we had dwelling, detached, dwelling, one family, multifamily, and two family.
Yeah, I changed it. We changed it.
Well, services is plural. And I think it covers it.
Oh,
Why-
I see, never mind.
Well,
I was reading it as living independently in separate dwelling units with services for heat, lighting, and our other utilities. But I was reading separate services, like I don't know why I just kind of put that all together, meaning like the first floor has to have its own meter.
well, that's the way I'm reading this.
No,
Yeah.
That's not what it
It's
says.
nice if it does, but
no, living independently in separate dwelling units with services. It doesn't say it has to be separate services.
So my notes say that we inserted the Beverly definition dwelling, which included multifamily, and it's just simply a dwelling containing 3 or more dwelling units.
So that's what we're gonna leave, that's it.
Yeah, we were gonna list dwelling and then have the subsets, which is
Okay.
1 family, 2 family,
So we
multi,
already addressed this.
So we're crossing multifamily out of that
Yeah.
section?
Yeah.
delete it.
Oh, we are, okay.
Yeah, we're covered it under
Somewhere else.
somewhere else. In Westfield's ordinance.
Municipal use,
Okay.
Except as elsewhere more specifically defined.
what does that even mean?
Could be like a school, I don't know.
Say that again?
Like a school or a park, or, we might, parks are limited to certain areas. That's probably what that's referring to.
I mean,
I think we have to leave it there, cause if we purchase more stuff, I mean, you're never gonna encumber.
land or structure used for any operation by town government. So if the town owned a apartment block, they don't, is that considered municipal use?
Right, but it's regulated separately because it's more specifically defined.
somewhere else.
Right, so that's why it needs to, that needs to stay in there, that's separate. So that's good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
good.
Net, oh, what can we do?
Net floor area,
We talked about it a lot.
So if it was a single-family house, you would count the porches and all that?
Excluding
On floor area.
But if it's a
Enclosed porch.
multifamily and they're common areas, you don't count it.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
What does this matter for, like, when you talk about, is this, when you're talking about the square footage of the house?
Taxes,
When
It
we-
might
We
square
don't-
footage. It might, there's
We
a
don't-
minimum floor area, right?
For
Allison?
some things, yes.
Yeah.
Like an apartment has to be 600, minimum 600 square feet. So it comes into play with that. I don't know if that's gross or
like on
net
an
though.
auxiliary
Accessory?
accessory building.
Accessory building,
Like,
yeah.
so if someone's gonna,
Right, but
like when I
that's not
put
a
my barn
dwelling
up,
unit.
if it's over a certain amount of feet, it goes into a different.
But that's not a dwelling unit.
it doesn't
You
say
would use-
dwelling unit, it says
Yeah, it
net
does.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
that's in the
sorry.
description.
You
Well,
would
then
use
the
gross floor
definitions
area
should say
when
net-
it came to an accessory
Dwelling
structure.
net floor area, the total area of all floors of a dwelling unit.
So this is just typical, you exclude porches that aren't enclosed.
Well, it's not a
patios.
living area,
Right.
yeah. If it doesn't have a roof or walls, then
Makes
it's
sense.
just a deck essentially. at
And
that
then when you
point.
have a multifamily or a two-family, hallways and stairways, you can't use it to include it to make, like you said, to reach that, say, 600 square feet of a
Right.
apartment. That makes sense. I'm fine with that.
Me too.
Non-conforming building or structure.
I got a notation here that I put in a while ago. We're gonna move that to structure
Right.
somehow.
Yeah.
We're not using building, correct?
Right, structure, non-conforming, that's what it's changing to.
And we've already talked about it?
We're gonna move it under what?
Because I know some of these, like we said, we're gonna move, but we didn't actually get to that actual definition because it wasn't on that, on that letter.
That was March 29th.
Yeah, building non-conforming, and just the non-conforming building, and we're gonna change it to structure, that's my note.
Mine says, keep definition, remove building so structure non-conforming to replace non-conforming building or structure, keep definition.
So this would go into the S's, under structure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think we're doing the bullet thing, right?
Yeah, or just having them all in a row.
So we're all set with that one?
Right.
I'm good with it.
Good.
Yep.
Non-conforming lot? And we didn't talk about in lot.
Pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
It's kind of what we were just talking about.
right.
Now, how long are they protected?
Should it go under lot, or just stay?
Now I'm seeing that they have the three non-conformings together.
Gotta be defined somewhere else.
Keep all the non-conformings together.
You know, we're gonna keep running into this, so
So what do you wanna do with those? Keep them together?
I don't really care, honestly.
What's that?
The non, we're talking about non-conforming structure and putting it with, structure, we were talking about that. But now you see that they have all the non-conformings together, non-conforming structure, lot, and use. So maybe they should stay right where they are.
Yeah, I would.
Use, non-conforming use? So essentially the same thing, except they take the words and change structure to lot to use.
So give me an
It's
example.
the same as the lot.
Yeah, it's the same as the lot, but give me an example, just like in the lot one. Subject to variance, so like,
It's mass general law, it's not, a variance runs with the land, but it's different than being a legally non-conforming use, lot, structure. Legally non-conforming means it conformed when it was created. Variance means after the fact, you got a waiver or relief from some zoning requirement. The status isn't the same.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds.
So non-compliant structure is, which is the same as non-conforming structure?
No.
Cause that's in the old, with the current, Tara's
Non-compliant
ordinance.
structure?
I didn't bring my old ordinance. I knew I was forgetting something.
Which one?
I didn't bring my current ordinance. I said I knew I was forgetting something. No, it's okay. Yeah.
Any
So in the
structure?
current one, it says that we just go to nursing home, which is fine, but in Tara, she added a non-compliant structure. What?
So it's 40A Section 6, which regulates non-conforming, also regulates non-compliant. And there are certain protections for non-compliant structures if they were issued in accordance with a building permit, even if that was issued improperly. And that's
So we
basically.
need it? Is that something that has
Yeah.
come up and that's why it's been added?
I don't know that the definition has to be there. It's in Mass General Laws. It's like state regulation.
No, if it's in
The definition, I don't know, is, but this regulation is, so,
In the existence of 6 years?
yeah.
Okay.
I think they might have changed that, actually. I'll have to look. That's something
Well,
that
it's just
Jonathan
a
might.
definition.
Right, I'd leave it.
Nursing, rest, life care, or convalescent home? I don't even know what does convalescent mean?
Where you rest up.
Is it like handicap?
Oh.
It says provide full-time convalescent or chronic care.
I thought it was like a
I don't know.
Comfortable.
convalesce, yeah, I think it's when
Get
you're,
better.
like, end of life.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
It's
it was like
kinda
end of
like-
life care.
Part of the
Like
healing
looking at that
process.
It's a nursing home, is it?
Why don't we just call it one thing?
Right, well, I think it's an old term.
Recovering from an illness or operation.
Mm.
It's an adjective, triple word score. A person who is recovering after an illness or operation.
It's a convalescent?
You're convalescing, you're chilling out, you're
Convalescent.
I wonder if it's because a lot
Why are we
of,
using it as aren't we using it as a noun?
a lot of,
Because it is.
Full-time
It can
be.
convalescent
oh,
or chronic care, no, I guess it says, okay. An extended or immediate care facility licensed or approved to provide full-time convalescent care for individuals who, by reason of managed age, chronic
that makes sense.
It's like
Why
a
do we call-
rehab.
But why, right, but why do we, isn't that just a nursing home? Why do we call that, why do we have all those names for it?
Maybe because,
Because rehab is typically short.
and so is a convalescent. If you're, I mean, a lot of hospitals now, you're put into an intermediate nursing home for,
But you just
Rehab,
said you're in
yeah.
an intermediate nursing home.
well, I know, I call it, well, you can get rid of convalescent.
That's what I mean, I just don't know why do we have
Yeah.
3 names
Well-
for it? Is there a
Because older
difference?
people
Well, some of them
use
used to be called
If you're
that.
old, you're probably already
Well,
there.
we're modernizing.
I know
So
that.
we don't need to use
But are they
those
still out
words.
there?
Yeah, but I don't know
I
if a
mean, you put it on the phone and it's, they're all over there.
Are they really?
I mean, then you know, the convalescent homes are staffed by medical professionals and provide short-term care, recovery for patients after surgery and long-term. These
It's more like
facilities
a
can be
rehab, yeah.
freestanding hospitals or hospital-based units and are lower-level extension of hospital care.
Which is different than a nursing home.
A rehab is?
Yeah.
Like
Rehab,
if you're gonna go to rehab to have your knee rehabbed after surgery, you go to a nursing home.
You can.
yeah, but they
Where-
take you from the nursing home,
where
bring you to
else?
rehab. There's not,
There's a physical therapist that works at the rehab, at
Right.
the nursing home.
There's
Right.
different, you have,
I don't know. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't
It's
really matter.
right,
It just
because
sounds like it's kind
nursing-
of confusing to me.
well, nursing homes are used for different purposes now. You know, it used to
Just-
just be for
right.
older, now you can go there for recovery, or
Right.
you might after surgery,
Live
so
there because
it's
you-
different. It's not a forever place to you.
I think the reason we put
We
so
should call
many
my mom, she's gonna know too.
so
what it's
many
like to be in a
words
nursing
in
home.
there is just to cover your butt. Somebody
Yeah.
comes in, they say, well, I'm not building a nursing
home.
home, I'm building a convalescent home, so it just covers us.
That's
How
fine.
about assisted living?
That's
Where's
different.
that in there?
That's not necessarily for people that are unable to care
Care
for
for
themselves.
We don't
It's
have a
We don't talk
definition.
about
of that.
halfway in
Do we
between.
need a definition for assisted living?
Probably
It says
wouldn't
life
hurt.
care. Is that covered?
Yeah, that's, I don't know.
I know, that's why I was curious if
I
that,
don't know.
Nursing rest.
Well, Monastery Heights has assisted living.
yeah.
Rest, I have heard like
Rest home. So
It's
right
really
now
old.
we have,
Yeah.
Sounding.
in the use table, it's rest home, convalescent home, nursing home.
Probably add
Are all-
assisted living.
Is assisted living, would there be a place where you would allow a nursing home, but you wouldn't allow?
Yeah, there is, because
assisted
a lot of them
living?
switch over to Alzheimer units now. Like it's
But I
level
feel like they're the
care.
same thing.
They're in the same building.
Assisted
Right, so
living
for
has-
zoning
No, 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 not-
purposes,
not
you
that.
wouldn't restrict
Correct,
nursing
that's what I'm asking
homes, but allow
There
assisted
must be
living.
That's what I'm asking. Does it
No.
matter?
something in chapter 40 that
No,
covers
because it
that.
really kind of,
They're like the same thing.
because you have staff and services that are provided, it's not.
Cause like the monastery.
Yeah, but I mean, a
is
nursing home is
assisted
different than
living.
assisted
Yeah.
But
living.
there's.
They also have
nurses, there's
independent
doctors,
living,
there's
too.
CNAs.
Yeah.
Right, but a nursing home, you know, it's like a motel and a hotel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The nursing home, the rooms are open, there's a hallway, any person can go in anybody's room technically.
Right.
Where, assisted living, it's their own unit.
It's like
Right.
locked
They lock their apartments, they live in their apartment,
Yeah.
and maybe
have
the
small
The
chief nurse has a
intensity
key or
of the
something.
use, though, I
But
think
Yeah, right, and there's
is,
kitchens
So you
and.
don't think we need to
But then it's
define it
separated in
separately?
assisted living now, where they usually have the Alzheimer
Probably.
unit, which
You
is.
should probably think
separate.
about
it
it
wouldn't
as
hurt.
baby boomers, yeah.
So-
but I don't
But
know
you
that
have
it needs to
leave
be
the assisted
regulated
living there,
differently,
just
but
Right.
it doesn't
for
hurt to
over.
add it.
Cause we had to do that with Steve's mom, same
Okay.
building, same place, same something, just a different level of care.
So maybe we should add that. Just what is, an assisted
Because
living
there's
facility.
assisted, and then
Howard-
there's independent living.
So what happens if you have a unit that's combined? Like she's saying, there's a lot of
Yeah.
assisted living that have a nursing home or a,
Yeah,
Or
now
independent,
you
usually they have
don't-
independent living
you
and
don't-
assisted.
You don't allow them in different areas, you regulate them the same, but
Right.
they're defined differently for the purposes of capturing assisted living.
So what she's saying is, we're not going, it's not gonna matter on the use table, but maybe we should define it so that we understand so someone understands the difference if they need to.
Or to understand that it's, yeah, I think it should be included on the use table. Not regulated
nursing-
differently,
right,
but
with nursing
included,
homes,
yeah,
convalescent,
called out
yeah.
specifically.
So we'll add it to the use.
so if you add it to the use table, you gotta create a definition.
Yes,
Which is
yes.
what we're.
What about independent living? Is that already covered? or-
Independent living, I mean,
That's
that's
like
just,
detail and like 55 and over, isn't it? Is like
No, that's
independent
age
living?
restricted.
independent
Well, what's
living is just
independent
condos.
living? Living by themselves.
Independent living is the
Yeah.
same thing as monastery, you know?
No.
Right,
Yeah,
but they
yeah, yeah.
have services
Right,
and
that's
staff.
assisted living.
That's
No, they
assisted
have both.
living.
They have
have
both in
both.
monastery.
No, it goes in 3 stages
Yeah,
at most of
independent,
them. So you have independent living,
right,
and then
assisted,
when you get to the next level, then you go to assisted,
then you
and
go
then when you
to
get to the next level, you go to like the
complete
Alzheimer's
nursing home
unit
or out.
They physically
Alzheimer's.
move you from one room to the
They
other?
do,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you've paid for it.
And you, yeah.
It's all about your
It's all
budget.
about
Shoot.
the-
And usually.
If not, you go out into the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, kidding. I
Usually
often
there's
wonder.
actual, like, you know, they're blocked. Like in Stu's mom's Alzheimer's unit, she could not leave because she had
He has a
Yeah,
all
lockdown.
the doors
Yeah.
are locked, and then she has like a buzzer.
So we're gonna add a definition of assisted living. Why is
And
there, why is
independent.
there
So can
buttons
we-
on this table?
Why don't we just let,
The second button.
why don't we just let Allison do some research from other towns or whatever and come up with a definition for assisted living, and then we'll add it next meeting.
I don't think we need to define independent living.
Yeah.
She doesn't think we have to define
They're
independent.
new.
No,
you-
if it's included as part of a larger system with the assisted and full nursing home, then it's
You would go with
it's an
the-
accessory to that at that
Right,
point.
plus you'd always go with the stricter,
Right, exactly. So if you're only in independent living, then you're just condos at that point.
There are
so if it was a
is
combined
different
unit,
now.
independent units and assisted, you'd go with the stricter,
Right.
Right.
you'd go with the
If you weren't
rules for
gonna
the
allow it
assisted.
for- right.
If it was just
It is
independent, you
different
would go
though
by
than
condos. But we need a definition of
Assisted.
assisted living,
Okay. I don't
right?
even know
Because we're adding that, okay.
Occupancy,
Hold on, I think she had something.
No, I don't know, I just think independent living is different than just condos, but from their function. They're run different, I don't know, I just see them as a lot different.
Yeah, they
There's
do
your
usually
con-
have services on site and
Yeah,
Right,
like
is
prepare
that-
your meals, you don't.
That's assisted living.
No, that's
That's
independent.
No, it is-
Believe
it
me,
is
I've been
different.
through this with my parents, there's a big difference. Independent, they're independently able to go down to the dining room, but there are services there for them, it's a
Right.
managed place.
Yeah.
Right.
And assisted means a nurse comes in and maybe doles out your medicine, or there's a lot more help with
Helps
it.
you get dressed in the morning, I mean,
And you can also be
So I
independent.
must be in assisted living then, because my wife has to get my clothes out.
That's,
for me.
yeah, and you better be paying for that.
yeah.
It's
I'm paying
expensive.
dearly, believe me.
Anyway, I just,
You're paying, imagine what she's paying.
Hey,
God bless her.
won't side with her.
Good point.
God bless her. To a special place for Sheila.
anyway, that's,
Occupancy.
So, I'm sorry, but, so where are we leaving off?
You're really dragging me down here today. Nursing home, we're gonna leave this as it is, and then we're going to add a definition of assisted living.
We might have to bump you up to skilled nursing if we're forgetting. what
Yeah.
it is.
I'm going into
You're
the
going into the
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's unit.
That's bad. So she's okay with that?
well, I don't know, if you don't have any definition of it, I just think there's gonna be a lot more independent living places.
But they're gonna be,
And maybe they're differently zoned, I don't know.
So Allison,
They're not
if we have something come in that's independently,
It's a large,
independent living,
it's like Quail Run.
what would you use for criteria for that right now?
I honestly, I don't know, cause
Okay, so I
haven't
think,
encountered it.
maybe it's regulated by the state, maybe they have definitions that
Well,
we can go back to that.
do, oh, I'm sure the state does, the Mass Department of Public Health usually has,
Well, that's what I'm saying, maybe,
Yeah.
we-
Let me just
so
take
you're
a
saying,
look
I
at
guess
what
that
they
makes
said.
sense, so you're saying a place like, like that place Quill Run
Quail Run
in
is
Agawam
independent,
is independent
and
living, so it's like a
assisted.
full unit.
Right, they have
Right.
cottages around
Right.
it, and
Right.
then there's like the central unit and all the people in the cottages, they can come and go, they can do whatever they want, but they come in there for dinner, they don't have to, but they can come in for dinner, I'm sure there's laundry services,
Mhm.
you know,
Breakfast.
landscaping, all that, in fact, I do the sprinklers up there, that's how I know, but.
And the people in the building are also independent, they're just closer to the, and there are some that are assisted, so they break them down.
And it's
into-
probably how much you can afford,
Yeah.
like if
Exactly.
you got the money, you
All
can live in the
about-
cottage, but if
yes.
you don't, you're in a room in the big
Well,
building.
well, yeah, exactly, they're
I
one,
think we should look at the state's thing
Yeah,
and
so
try and
independent
mirror it
living
if
and
it's
assisted
possible.
living, maybe we should separate and define, so we'll circle back to that, I don't wanna get hung up on that.
Okay, circle back.
Circle back, it's 8:23, not the time, the date. Sorry.
I think it is, well, it's just a little after.
Oh, that was funny. 8:23 on 8:23. Are you good, Frank?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as we're not, as long as we're gonna get some more
Thank you.
information on it.
Occupancy,
Use or occupancy, character of use or designated purpose of a building, structure, or land. So again, we take building out.
Mhm.
Use-
Well, and I don't think it hurts to leave it in there.
What's that?
I don't think it hurts to just leave it in
Well, we
there.
gotta make up our mind, if we're saying we're taking
Right,
it out
well,
everywhere, we
it's-
should take it out.
We're taking it out of like head, like of the
the bold,
but
the name
u-
definition.
using it in the definition isn't, as long as it's not only building.
Use or occupancy, character of use or designated purpose of. I guess that makes sense.
Mhm. And then it goes with the next one, so occupancy
Does
permit.
character leave too much of a gray area for interpretation?
Character
you know.
of use.
Yeah, so, Jay determines one thing, Pat determines another, Allison, and the guy coming in determines
There's
something else.
literally, I don't think any way to resolve that issue. I've thought about it at length and
I
it's
think about it
just,
while I drink a lot of wine at night.
yeah,
There's
it's,
no way to resolve
I
that
think that's
issue.
been always
There
pretty
isn't.
clear.
there just
Yeah.
isn't.
It's not a
Alright,
bottom of a bottle.
We're good.
I
An
wish.
occupancy permit,
It's pretty cut and dry.
yeah.
Off-site medical marijuana dispensary. Again, that's,
Alright, we wanna come back to it after
Yeah.
we get
I
more.
think we'll have some information by the time we get through the 2 years.
but again, isn't that pulled right out of the state
Yes.
that she put there?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's pulled from the creation of the limits on medical marijuana when the ordinance was passed,
The
following,
Oh, I
The
need to smoke a joint when we get to
establishment
that
of
one.
a Medical Use of Marijuana
not?
Act, is it
Right.
pulled
Why
from
not?
that, or?
Right, so that
Yeah.
definition is right from
Yeah,
that.
and that, I
it's
think,
in- Now she moved it into the definition section because it was just in the marijuana
Yeah.
section, whatever it is, so.
I think, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think we'll have to get to that.
right, 'cause there are-
One family dwelling,
What, sorry.
one family dwelling
so I think that's getting moved,
to
dwelling.
dwelling.
No party walls.
Well,
What's a
now it
party
is
wall?
a detached dwelling other than a stationary trailer or
Between two.
mobile home containing only one dwelling unit.
You know, a multi-tenant building, party walls in between
It's like a shared
each
wall.
unit.
Ever heard it called a party wall?
Sometimes called the demise
I
wall.
Get more.
Yeah.
Most of the time called the demise wall. Separating
I'm
two
getting out
spaces.
more.
So
How's
should
that
we
watermelon
change it to
margarita?
demising instead of party?
Is it good?
You wanna add-
No.
That's what it's mostly.
I just
I-
never heard it called a party wall.
The definition that I thought we were changing it to is just
Well,
simply,
there's a party wall between condo
That's
units,
for the unit.
you know what I mean? So this is, I
yeah,
wonder
What
who
do you-
came up with this.
She's got a new one, we said.
a detached dwelling other than a stationary trailer or mobile home containing only one dwelling unit.
That's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we're
like
using from
it.
the, that's the Beverly one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so we're good with that.
So we're gonna change this.
What is it, Beverly?
We're gonna
Yeah.
move it and change it.
On-site solar photovoltaic installation.
Wow.
Is a structure that is constructed at a location where other uses of the underlying.
Is that for
property
putting them on
So,
your roof?
well,
It can be, it's different than a commercial solar photovoltaic installation, I think is, right?
so if some people put them on their roof, what if someone wants to do put a small farm in their backyard?
I don't think we allow that. We passed an ordinance on.
No, but
We,
but
yeah,
here it
you
looks like they're
You have to
grouping
have
it
a
together.
certain
You
amount of, no.
can, we just, right now, it's regulated as an accessory structure.
Right, and you have to have a certain amount of land in order to do that.
No, so this is what I was right, the commercial solar photovoltaic requires 1.25 acres.
Okay.
Where did you see commercial?
But just
She's reading it.
it's in the ordinance,
In-
in Terra's. It's also in our existing, it might not be in the definition section.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
We didn't go over it.
All I'm saying is on-site, this one we're reading right now, sounds like it groups whether you put it on the roof of your house or whether you wanna put it in your backyard. Is that, do you
Yeah.
want them the same, grouped together?
Is a structure that is constructed at a location where other uses of the underlying property occur.
So if you got a big field next to your building and you build a solar farm,
No,
no?
no, because if you're
Then it becomes
feeding
commercial.
it back to, if you're generating electricity primarily for off-site use, then it's a commercial installation.
That would be the farm on one side and then
Right, and
the
on-site
fueling your building.
presumably means it's
Right,
just for
that's
your-
like the solar panels on your roof of your building.
But they don't
or-
have to be on the roof, you could just put them in the backyard,
See,
I
that's what-
guess.
Yeah.
So
people
we
do that.
regulate that somewhere else? I mean, obviously this ain't a regulation, all I'm saying is, when we get the regulation, I wanna make sure we're gonna regulate people. I don't want someone putting all these solar panels in their backyard.
Well, they're treated, like I said, like accessory structures currently,
Like a
which
shed.
does limit.
So did you see they're gonna change the
Solar
building
farm
code
in,
even for solar?
Well, they want roofs to be able
Yeah,
to
so that
support.
they can support them, so
Yeah.
they're
That's-
actually changing the building code so people can have them on the roof, so that's gonna become like a lot more.
Where's the solar?
Well-
On their roof, how's that happen?
Right. If
That's
you're,
why
they're just gonna make the building code more stringent for roof structures.
Because they're
Right.
planning that everybody's pretty much gonna have solar power on their roof.
I don't know where it is in
That's
here.
gonna become a big thing.
Well, you gotta describe it, but then you gotta
Yeah.
enforce it somewhere else, right?
Right, which, I mean, this is, I know what Frank's saying, he's saying we don't need to like kill it on the definition, we need to understand when we're looking at the regulation part of it.
I just
that it
don't,
needs,
I'm sorry.
to be not just the roof, that it could.
Right, I just wanna make sure when we get into regulating it, we have the definition correct to separate it from on a roof versus,
In a field.
it's not an accessory structure on your roof.
No.
You know what I mean? So,
So it should just be separated between roof mount or freestanding, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just wanna make sure we can regulate it
And
after,
so
I don't want.
on-site, this on-site definition covers freestanding and on
Roof
roof
mount,
mounted.
Yes.
Well,
right now, yeah.
I mean, and this isn't even breaking it out from commercial
No.
To residents.
to residential.
Well,
I-
it doesn't have to be residential, though.
Say again?
It doesn't have to be residential.
Right, this is just saying on site.
Right, well, it's just saying it's for the electricity that's being generated is for use on site.
But that's not what it says.
I know,
That's
but I
the
think
thing.
that's,
The definition is really hard to read, I
It
think.
is.
I think it should say that, because I think that's
It
the
doesn't-
intention.
All this is saying is, you could have a potato farm and solar on site. It's the property's for something else and or you could have a house and a photo. It's not saying that the electricity has to be used there, which is gonna, technically is gonna be an issue anyways, because if I put solar on my house right now, and, which, I did at the shop, I put solar on the shop, now we're gonna do an LED upgrade, so we're gonna have all this extra solar, I'm sending it to my house and my daughter's house. So, technically, solar's gonna be
Work that way.
Yeah,
used
scattered.
off property anyways.
It's gonna be kind
And
of
people are gonna
scattered.
do that, which I don't think is an
I just
issue
don't think-
until someone finds out, oh, maybe if I put them
No.
on my roof and the backyard, I can sell the solar to my neighbor,
If
which you can
you
do.
go over a certain amount, though, I think the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission gets involved.
Over a certain amount,
If you're putting over a certain amount back into the grid, then you're regulated by
look at
the,
it's huge.
by
I got
FERC.
I got 100K right now, and there's no regulation, I can send it to 10 different houses. We're getting technical, all I'm saying is it's not as easy as it
I don't
looks.
really like the definition. I don't know if there's a way to we can look into it. I don't wanna spend now figuring it out, but we need to figure, I don't like, I don't think it says anything.
My only concern
Structure
is,
that is constructed at a location where other uses of the underlying property occur. What does that even mean?
it just means there's two uses on one piece of property.
But what are
Solar-
the uses? It doesn't say electricity, it doesn't say that it's generated for the on-site, it doesn't say,
well, if it's primarily to be used off-site, then it automatically gets kicked into the commercial.
That just needs to be
we should
clear.
just, I just think it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, do we want,
Add it to
Like
my
I
little
said-
list.
is the intention that it's supposed to be for on-site consumption primarily? Obviously not solely, because it
Right.
doesn't really work that way, but primarily? Just so that I have some direction of what we want to get at when I'm looking into this? Because the
Yeah.
solar regs are vast, so,
Again, my underlying concern is you get somebody that puts it on the roof, and then they got a quarter acre in their backyard, and they're like, you know what? I could put this here, and they can sell the electricity to their neighbor at a reduced rate. Next thing you know, everybody's gonna find out about it, and we're gonna have these little things popping up in everybody's backyard. That's my concern. You can do it right now. I got plenty of room to put an accessory structure in my backyard, which could be a solar panel, and I sell it to my neighbor for half the cost of what he's paying now. And I make money selling electricity. They do it. So my problem is you can do that residentially right now. And if we don't, and
If you
again, we
don't-
don't regulate in the definitions, I'm just saying if we don't define things properly, or we should come back to it, it becomes an issue. I mean, I don't want my neighbor putting a farm in their backyard. You know, I have a nice backyard, sit out by the fire, well, we don't have fires, we sit out by the pool and look at solar
Like
farms.
a percentage of use, so if you use 50% or more for your primary residence, and then they would be considered.
Personally, I don't think they should be anywhere but on your roof. I don't think anybody should be able to, in a residential area, be able to put those in your yard. That's my personal opinion, whether, I'm not saying it's right. But if you're living in, you're living in a $500,000 neighborhood, and all of a sudden this guy decides to put 50 panels in his backyard, your value
Jill,
of your
do you have
house
the
just went
existing
down.
ordinance? Can I look at it quick?
So Bill,
That'd be ugly.
you're building all kinds of buildings, how many people are asking for solar to be installed on their roof? Anybody? None, no?
No, that'll come from the outfits that are selling it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get 10 calls a week from the solar people, you know.
Right, and they want you to put it on all their buildings,
They wanted to put on, no, they're calling mostly residential people.
residential?
Yeah.
How come not business?
They call businesses.
I would think that that would be like, I'm actually thinking about doing it to our house at Cape Cod.
You know what it is? People don't understand it.
Yeah, but once they start to understand it, do you think they'll all start?
Well, that's why they're changing the building code for roofs. People don't understand how profitable it is. And what's happening is, there's 3 different types. There's lease,
Subsidized, that's why it's profitable right now, and it's, depends on how long the subsidies are
there's
there.
lease, there's PP something, and then you own it. If you can afford, like, from a commercial standpoint, if you can afford to buy it, it was profitable for us to do it because of the tax write-off and the rebates.
Yeah.
Okay, from a home, you know, if I was building a new home, I would consider doing it right up front, buying them, making it part of the structure, because, like I said, when you own them, you keep all the rebates and all that stuff, but at some point, that may go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt it,
No way
they just
to-
won't be as good. There'll always be something to encourage.
Yeah, renewable.
Right.
Okay,
So
I
maybe,
have a note that there's just gonna be a follow-up for both, like, we can just do some, I'll look into it too, to see, like, what we're looking to,
Well, I think it's a much bigger can of worms,
and it's,
like we were saying, than just the definition,
right,
yeah,
so.
I think we should just, like I said,
like the
just keep
marijuana
it in
thing,
the,
we're gonna have
Yeah.
to get back to it.
just keep it in the back of
Yeah.
our mind. I mean, do we all not want these structures in backyards, or do we
Yeah,
care?
Well,
If
there
it's
are-
just me, then it's one.
No, I don't.
There's
I
some
would wanna-
I think if
exemptions
it's a
to though,
residential
section
area,
3,
then the electricity should, the savings should
section
go,
3?
it should be used for the
40A
resident,
section
for the
3,
dwelling that's there.
which also has the
Not
agricultural
strictly for
exemptions,
selling.
has,
Yep,
you know,
Whatever the
solar
excess
is
is, I
included in
realize
it.
goes back into the grid,
okay.
but
But I think the
It
feds are
just, I
gonna
think it just says you
regulate that.
can't
Right.
unreasonably
Okay,
regulate.
So if we don't regulate where they can put them, we can't regulate what they do with electricity.
Oh,
The
okay.
feds are gonna regulate that. So we would have to regulate where they put them.
Right, which is what I'm saying with the, it's a much bigger
It's a
thing
big
than
ordeal.
the glare and there, yeah, there's a lot of, different ways to regulate it.
I've seen silver ones.
But when they're on the roof,
Then it doesn't
for
matter.
for the most part, it's not a glare issue
Right.
for the most part. It's not a eyesore if they're done right,
You don't see them.
you know, but,
My neighbor has some on his roof.
and,
You
and,
notice them.
and like I said, in my travelings, I've seen these things in people's backyard, they look like hell.
But how can you say that you don't want them in a backyard, but then let a whole solar farm pop up,
right now we only allow that in the industrial zone,
industrial?
yeah.
Cause I mean, I know when you're driving down 91 and you're headed towards Vermont, there's the
Yeah, there's a few of 'em.
DPW.
On 57, the heck
And
of
like,
gotta
there's
use
a lot
it.
of 'em.
I mean,
There's
I
one
think
right
it
on
looks
Interstate
terrible
Drive.
Right,
myself.
there is.
But it's fine there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that on our side though?
You know,
No.
It's
Yeah,
Holyoke's,
Holyoke.
yeah.
In Cape
Holyoke's got a
Cod,
lot of them.
they have,
one.
you know how,
Bulb, yeah.
this might happen in
Weird name.
You
Yeah.
know, when we reuse all our dumps, there's so much methane gas. So what the town of South Dennis did was they built a solar farm on the old trash site.
perfect,
Ludlow,
perfect.
It
Ludlow
was-
just did
And
it.
do you know, they made.
We just talked about that down at the Cape.
They have no, electricity bills for their town anymore. Cause they utilized a trash site with methane gas that couldn't be used for anything else for that. And they get like $500,000 back from the use of it.
Cape,
So it's a
I
win-win.
think there's more than one down at Cape. We were in
There's-
Falmouth and they're doing one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
Any
the
other
great idea
latest,
for landfill.
latest
You
You
trend.
never can use the land again, and you're covering it up with
You
these.
can, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
So for
again,
them it
it's
makes
a-
sense, but how can you say like that, I mean, I don't,
we're getting to that.
Because it's not, you're not living next to it. It's not in your
but
backyard.
some of the people are in the great big fields.
But like the one on that Bobola Road right there, like, what, no one, I don't think that makes any sort of difference.
Yeah, I don't have a, again, it's no different than regulating a commercial building.
Right,
It just, you
exactly.
pick a zone that you
You zone
allow
it,
it in,
correct.
and that's where you allow
That's
it.
why you
Where
have
it's-
zoning.
That's why there's zoning, right.
What about like if a trailer wanted to have a trailer, you know how we have the mobile home park? Would they be able to put a solar panel on the trailer roof, or would they have to have it on the ground? And could you tell them that?
But think of how much.
Well, first of all, that's gonna be
Depends.
regulated by the park, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna be part
what I
of
was
your
gonna
agreement
say.
with the
And
rental,
if
yeah,
the
you're
trailer has the
And then the
capacity.
trailer is,
Because the rental
whole
agreement would
structure
say
is-
that you're not allowed, probably not allowed to put.
I'm sure.
what do you call
You
that?
can't put like a
Like,
satellite
can't have
dish
a
in your
pool,
yard.
Like a condo couldn't
Restrictions.
either on your
Yeah,
roof,
well,
right?
Covenants.
Covenants.
Alright, how about open space?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go out and get down every day and stuff like that, yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna live, you can't live the way you want, what's the sense of living?
Makes sense to
I
me.
think it's okay.
Seems okay.
I believe so.
No problem with that, Allison, in the, yeah, she's, that's like, I
Oh,
kinda
you got
thought
notes
so.
on that too?
No, I just know that I don't remember in what way, but it was part of a recent,
It what?
it was part of the RV parked in the front yard.
Oh,
So claiming that there was conflicts with our definition of open space and accessory structures, but I don't know if it was,
How can
if it
someone
made
dig
any
that
sense or
deep?
not.
The
I don't
RV
know.
is
I
either in the
don't-
front yard or it's not in the front yard.
Yeah.
Freaking-
I don't think the way that this is written that it's a problem.
Is what?
I don't think it's a problem the way it's written.
So we're leaving it?
Yeah, I don't know what else you would define it as.
Open space ratio? What do we have for like a requirement on, when do you
But that
require
doesn't make-
open space
I know.
on a lot?
We
But they're saying,
do.
if you go to open space definition, all portions of a lot not devoted to a building, parking lot or vehicular surfaces. But when you go down to the ratio, it's only using
Gross floor area.
the floor area of the building, not the parking lot. That doesn't make sense.
Gross floor area.
Right, but
Not
why
yet.
why would open space
Yeah,
not
I mean, I guess
include a
you
parking
could.
lot, but yet, when you figure out the ratio,
Right.
it just doesn't make sense.
No, I think it should be more specific to say that it also excludes,
It's contradicting the open space thing.
yeah.
Well, doesn't the open space ratio blend
So the
in
gross
with,
floor area is defined earlier,
Right, but read.
there's a maximum building coverage though, isn't there?
but I just
In
wanted to
all
make
of the
sure that
zones?
it didn't say,
But a parking lot
Not all of them.
is
no.
not open space.
Or yes, there is.
It says that.
Yeah, there is.
Right, but if you go down and you calculate the ratio, they're telling you that you don't take that in consideration. It doesn't make sense.
Has to be the
So
same way.
But they're two different things, Frank. They refer to two different things. The open space ratio is relative to zoning, to the zoning district.
Are you reading Terrace? Are they both the same?
I don't know if they're both the
The
same.
ratio of open space to the gross floor area proposed for the site.
no, they're not the same thing. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's me. I'll have to call him back.
Right, so it's just for determining the ratio, it's not for, yeah, I think you're right.
So I guess you could, so to determine the ratio, you're just using the square footage of the building,
Right,
but a parking lot is not considered.
right, when you
open space.
create your
Right.
open space,
Okay.
the parking lot
Alright,
won't be
alright.
included.
Just, if we get confused reading it, and again, you want it as simple to understand for anybody who comes in, so we don't have RV in the front yard discussions.
I think we're always gonna have RV in the front.
Well, yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, if everybody else is
Not
okay with
we.
it, I'm okay with it.
Not we, but you guys will. Parking area or structure off-site. This is like a parking garage.
Oh, didn't we touch on this before?
We don't have one. And it's only allowed within the central business district?
Yeah.
I gotta run.
Unacceptable. I'll mark you as every day.
Next meeting, 2 weeks. Probably.
If it's not, I'll send an email.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thanks.
See you, bud.
A structure or parcel of land, central business district shall provide parking in accordance with requirements 9.0 of this ordinance. For use is also located within the central business district. So what do we have to do with that?
We had talked about it before and I don't remember why. Oh, I think it was relevant to garage.
Parking garage?
Nope, just garage, and we changed it. Yep, okay, so we have garage private and garage public. That could be what I'm thinking of. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
So currently, we only allow a parking garage to be built in central business district?
That's the old one. And the new one, it takes
Oh.
that off.
I didn't even think of looking at the new one, sorry. Yeah, then that's fine. Why don't we just call it a parking garage? Oh, I guess because it could be something else, right?
Well,
It doesn't have
It
to be
could be like
enclosed.
when you park in a parking lot for a concert and then you walk. I don't
right,
know
that's a,
if
that's a
here, but
public off-site, yeah.
That's off-site, so what's off-site versus off-street? Okay. We had that too.
This is
Alright.
where such parcel or structure is physically removed from the uses it serves.
Like it's just a parking garage, so you
Yeah.
park there and then you walk to go to the Majestic Theater, it doesn't just serve the Majestic Theater.
Right. And then parking
It's
space they
somewhere
took
else,
off.
you know?
Okay, that makes sense.
No, they didn't put down.
So off-street parking versus off-site parking.
What does 1 ton have to do with
So like you can't park, I don't know, how big is a,
18-wheeler, you can
commercial-
have like the
yeah.
18-wheeler.
Commercial vehicle.
cause it says commercial vehicles less than 1 ton, so that would be like your truck? Is a
it? My
commercial vehicle,
trucks
Right?
say
But,
less,
like, you'd put-
with a rated capacity of 1 ton or less, so mine you could park there.
Right,
You could
but you
park-
could
but you
like
can't
take
park
your,
a dump
when
truck.
you drive a truck for, like a, say Stop and Shop and you have a big 18
So-
wheeler, you can't just park it. That's what I
So
would think.
someone comes to the Big E and they bring their RV? We're not gonna let them park there?
That's
How
an
much
RV.
does the RV weigh?
Cool. Mine? Mine's 50,000 pounds, but I mean, you're, even just a little,
How do you even know that?
huh?
How do you even know that?
That's what I do.
I think
The
it tells you how much
industry,
it weighs
yeah.
to
Are
buy
you like
them.
a car person?
But I mean, someone comes in with a small RV,
You can take it and weigh it?
you know, a drivable RV.
Those
It's
weigh
got
stations at
an-
the
It's an
club.
F-450 front end, that's more than 1 ton. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know why that's in there.
I guess that's my point, why is it in there? I mean, I guess you could take and say no commercial vehicles.
No,
Why
because
would
off-street
you?
parking there's commercial vehicles.
I just
And
think
like
the
a commercial
tonnage
vehicle
opens
could
up.
be like a van that you.
Or a car.
But there's
Your
1
electric
ton
car.
in a lot of different places. There's 1 ton on
Well-
the one
Is
we
your
just
truck
talked
commercial?
about.
It's just a
My
sore,
box
it's a,
fan is,
Yeah.
we got 2 years of this that just went to heck. We had a committee doing
Yeah.
these vehicles, that's why it stands out to me. We spent well over a year and a half dealing with commercial vehicles,
Parking.
1 ton, I probably still got all my notes in here somewhere.
The
So
color
it
of
becomes an issue. Cause technically, like an F-350 pickup truck that's commercial, you can't leave in your driveway.
Right.
That's crazy.
And 1 ton has been in there from the old one to the
And it
new
went,
one. It's-
and it went back to like HVAC guys that are on 24-hour call. So if I worked for Joe's Heating and Air Conditioning,
Right.
I take the van home, I go to sleep, I get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, I go fix your heat. Guy got in trouble, he can't leave him in your driveway. It was a van, commercial van, 24-hour call, and the guy got a violation, so that's what started the whole thing. And then it just went to bed. So it's a tough thing to get involved in. And I just think.
Well, then there's somebody on Hillside Avenue that used to park a Bob's truck or something. It was like he blocked the whole,
Well, that's a whole different
Is-
animal.
isn't
It should
that
be
wrong?
by size, not by commercial.
Or feet length, maybe?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna just shut up because I got 1.5 years. We went out on a field trip and measured trucks. It was,
Field trip.
oh, you think I'm kidding you? It was crazy, crazy.
Oh, I wanna
Came
take a
back with
field trip.
pictures,
Where do you wanna
you
go?
know?
don't
I took
know,
an
somewhere good.
F-350 and an
Beach.
F-550. I said, tell me the difference. The only difference were the springs. The physical truck was the same, so how can you tell me I can put my 350 there, but the
They
next
have a
guy can't put the
550?
550 there, huh?
They
So
have
where
a
do you draw the
550.
line?
450, 550, huh?
What did you come up with?
Nothing,
Yeah.
it got put to bed.
Yeah,
That's it, dude.
Yeah, 1.5 years.
Throw our hands up, it's
Yeah.
over.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jay Lacasse was in it, it was a nightmare.
well,
I'm glad I didn't have to sit through that.
And then it got down to the color, it got down
Oh,
to, is the
and-
Coca-Cola truck all advertising? Or is it a red truck with white lettering? What is the percentage?
Crazy.
oh, come
It
on,
was
this
nuts.
gets ridiculous. No,
Well,
but I know. it-
But again, it's like someone might not be offended.
That's why we
There
have
was
lawyers,
one,
right?
there was one citizen that came that, look, I don't care if they park the Coca-Cola van there, but you can't park the Coors Light van there, that encourages drinking.
Oh, my God.
Are you? I won't mention any names. She doesn't come to your meetings that much anymore. It was crazy, it was
I
crazy.
think she retired, right?
It just got into very, like, I don't like that soda bottle, but you do, so.
And then there was like a guy who owns an insurance company, his car, a Ford Taurus, was registered commercial. Well, that's a commercial vehicle, you can't do that.
Well, that's why I just asked him, because I know you do stuff on that, and I just said like, is your truck
I
commercial?
don't have
or
any
is it-
lettering on my truck.
You don't have lettering, but you have a commercial plate on it?
I have to by law because it's a dual axle in the back.
Did you ever check it,
Right.
well, did you ever check into a commercial plate has to be labeled? Your vehicle has to be
Yes, it's
labeled?
supposed to have, yes, lettering on the side, but
It's
I put it
crazy.
on the door and slide
Nobody
the
really
door back.
knows.
Right, it's nuts,
Yeah.
it's absolutely
Can't
nuts.
you have a little magnetic one and
I
take
only
it
park
off?
it at my house because I commute to work with it. It's not that I'm running a business out of the house.
But then
Well,
you
and
have
that's,
people
and
like-
that, it got to that too.
Yeah.
My truck is labeled, that's my personal truck, I've driven it for 14 years. I don't have another vehicle, that's how I get back and forth to work, the shop owns it, it's labeled commercial. But I don't fix cars in my driveway. So it just was,
The progressive insurance, like full wrap cars,
right.
Yeah.
that came into play. Then people take the cars home and then they go investigate whatever insurance company.
And then you got someone that was so upset, well, technically you can't wrap a car
Right,
with
in a
any kind of
sign.
marketing on it unless you register a commercial.
Yeah,
It's
it was
crazy.
nuts. It was
was-
a long
oh.
time.
So how does that affect this definition? We need to come up with
Yeah.
Because
something.
we're talking about the.
Well,
Right, so we need to
doing it
come-
by one
As
ton.
usual, I got off subject
No, but
because
we-
it
no, but
mentioned
we
the
need-
1 ton
But it
thing.
kinda is, like what you said, the biggie parking, when they all come in and they have the great big campers, which they're allowed, but they have their own overlay, does that mean they have their own rules, Bridget?
Well, I just don't use the biggie,
Yeah.
But where else would that happen? I guess if it would only be the Big E, then maybe they have their own rules and it's not an issue.
And like when I think of off-street parking, I think of like the people that park at their house or the biggie, could say something like that. Like, but, you know, they don't park an 18-wheeler there at the biggie, but they,
you park motorhomes there. All the vendors
Yeah.
up and down that whole section, people rent them their backyard,
Yeah.
they plug into their electric, they got
but
little
isn't an
campgrounds.
RV it's labeled different than a commercial vehicle.
I'm going back to the 1 ton thing. This says nothing about commercial,
It
it
says
says
light
1
commercial
ton.
vehicles
Says-
with a rated capacity of 1 ton or less.
Well, and it says automobiles and like, yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with,
Anything about RVs.
yeah.
It's automobiles and light commercial vehicles with a rated capacity of 1.
So
Whatever
here's
you want.
something
It's
else
been way too
But
much.
besides.
now this, I'm assuming, like, this is where we come into the signs, we come into the parking, like, you guys spent 2 years working on parking. If this is a definition that's coming out of the parking
don't know if
ordinance
it is.
redo, I mean, you've probably had this conversation before, like, why are,
I can tell you, we
Which is
never,
the same thing
I don't
we
know
had-
where that came from.
Yeah, I.
Because if that 1 ton thing came up in parking, we'd be having
We'd
this
still do that,
conversation.
Yeah.
That never came up in the parking one.
Yeah, I
So-
wasn't there for that, so.
This
so an
would
off-street
even-
parking lot can have automobiles and light commercial vehicles that are less than 1 ton. You cannot repair, service, or sell gasoline,
So if,
or gasoline isn't carried on.
The issue with the vehicles was, and what my point was, what offends you? In other words, it's the big truck that blocks everything. And that's when I brought the sample, weight has nothing to do with it. An F-350, an F-250, an F-350, F-450, F-550 can all look identical. The average person wouldn't know the difference. I could take an F-350 sticker and put it on an F-550, you wouldn't know the difference. So my point was, it's not the weight, it was the physical
It's the
size.
Right.
So that's when we went out and started measuring, okay, well, you can't have more than whatever feet high. Well, then poor Jay had just bought a new Nissan van that was a few inches higher. Well, I can't
And it was
try that.
commercial, it didn't matter first.
Huh?
Was it a commercial van?
Yeah.
So don't
It was a
some,
plain white van, but it was a
Do
commercial.
they have,
Length.
Then we went by length, we measured
Yeah,
length.
22 feet. In
On
any commercial.
off-street parking?
Off-street, yeah. Anything longer than 22 feet.
it should be addressed though. I mean, don't some towns like prohibit any, like Long Meadow, can't you not have any commercial vans there, or is that?
probably not, they probably have to be in the garage or.
I don't think you can have any.
I don't
Some people I
remember, I
know-
know we did all kinds of research.
Revisit.
I'll look into some other, like, I think it's more about length than it is about weight.
Yeah, I
Height,
agree
I'd
with
say
that.
height too, though, if you get.
Like,
this
you don't
big-
want an 18-wheeler parked there.
Right.
Right, so 22 feet, what's 22 feet? Like, what's in that?
There's a lot of box
How
trucks that are
tall
like
is that?
24 feet, that's why they made it 22 feet, like those, like the, I don't know, like a Staples delivery truck. or
Right,
something.
like Raymore Flanagan delivery.
Correct, those are like 24 feet, yep.
So
You
can't
gotta
have those on the
incorporate
same
height.
street. Height?
Because you might, you could have a Ford Excursion extended, which is pretty darn long, but it's not high and it's a regular vehicle. So if you're gonna go by physical size, it's gotta be length and height. Width can be 8
Do they
feet.
put
But
height?
how about the
Yeah, that I'm
camper,
aware
when
of
you
that.
said that?
Huh?
What about a camper that will still not qualify that for parking?
Well, that's not commercial.
Can we just get to parking space? Does anyone have an issue with parking space? Just because parking spaces and well, actually, never mind. On Terrace, there's a few more. Parking spaces at the end, the last page of the old ordinance, we would have gotten through that page. and
You
gone
get
to
a
the next one,
destination
but
today.
We're not there. Oh,
You did good.
alright, so we're on parking lot repavement and resurfacing.
No, we have a big huge
Remember? What's repaving, what's resurfacing, what's reconstructing? I don't even wanna read them.
I
Are we
don't.
quitting or are we going on?
Yeah, I
to the
don't.
We
next one?
have 9 more pages of definitions.
How many have we done, is the question?
Of definitions?
Yeah,
Probably not 9.
well, that's my point. I like to see the halfway point. We're over halfway? Nice.
15 we've done,
How many?
15.
So then we're 25, 2/3 of the way through?
And we need, cause we need to get moving on. Well, I think the lot width wasn't helpful. And that drug us down a little bit. We could probably be a little bit further, but.
Well, there's still, unfortunately, still some
Need to
stuff
keep-
that's gonna take time that we gotta come back to. That's why we put them on.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll have some direction. We'll get some
So
direction.
we're
I took
done?
these notes. I'm gonna just come up with whatever, and
So make a motion to adjourn. There we go.
Second.
Goodbye, West Springfield.